I could feel my balance slipping. One moment I was in tree pose, my arms raised toward the ceiling of the community center's yoga studio, and the next, the polished wooden floor was rushing up to meet me. The last thing I heard before everything went dark was Instructor Beth's voice calling out, sharp with alarm, "Maria! Someone catch her!" When my eyes fluttered open, I was lying on a yoga mat someone had slid beneath me. A small crowd of concerned faces hovered above, all women from my Tuesday morning senior fitness class. Beth was kneeling beside me, her hand on my wrist, and I felt the cool metal of my smartwatch press against my skin as she checked my pulse. "Maria, can you hear me? Should I call 911? I tried to sit up, but my head spun. No. I'm fine. Just got a little dizzy." "A little dizzy?" That was Margaret, my closest friend in the class, her silver hair pulled back in her usual neat bun. "You went down like a sack of potatoes." "This is the third time this month." Was it? I couldn't remember. The past few weeks had become a blur of exhaustion, headaches, and a strange mental fog that made it hard to focus. I was 63 years old, not 23, but I'd always prided myself on staying active and healthy. This wasn't normal. Beth helped me to a sitting position and handed me a bottle of water. "Maria, I really think you should see a doctor. This isn't just dehydration." I nodded, taking small sips. My watch vibrated against my wrist, the screen lighting up with a notification. Hydration level, optimal. Sleep quality last night, 8.2. Stress level, low. I stared at the numbers, confused. If everything was optimal, why did I feel like I'd been hit by a truck? "That's a nice watch," Beth commented. "Is it new?" "My boyfriend gave it to me." The word still felt strange on my tongue. Boyfriend. At 63. After my husband Frank passed away 4 years ago, I never thought I'd say that word again. David's very concerned about my health. He insisted I wear it all the time so he can make sure I'm taking care of myself. Margaret's eyebrows rose slightly, but she didn't comment. She'd never particularly warmed to David, though she'd been too polite to say why. I managed to stand up, though my legs felt like water. Beth insisted on walking me to my car, making me promise to schedule a doctor's appointment. I agreed, mostly to stop her worrying, and drove the 10 minutes back to my condo in the Pine Ridge retirement community. David's silver Mercedes was already in my driveway when I pulled up. My stomach tightened. He wasn't supposed to be here until dinner. He met me at the door, his handsome face creased with concern. At 68, David Chen still had the posture and energy of a much younger man, his salt and pepper hair perfectly styled, his casual clothes expensive and well-fitted. He'd been a successful real estate developer before retiring, and it showed in everything from his watch to his car to the way he carried himself. "I got an alert that your heart rate spiked," he said, ushering me inside. The app notified me immediately. "What happened?" I felt dizzy at yoga and sat down for a minute. "It's nothing." "Nothing?" His voice rose slightly. "Maria, your heart rate went to 145. That's not nothing. Did you take your supplements this morning?" I hesitated. I think so." He sighed, the way a parent might sigh at a forgetful child, and walked to my kitchen counter where a large pill organizer sat. He'd bought it for me 2 months ago, right after he'd given me the watch, filling it every week with an array of vitamins and supplements from his nutritionist friend. "You didn't. Look, Tuesday's morning compartment is still full." He shook his head, genuine worry in his dark eyes. "Sweetheart, I set these up for a reason. Your vitamin D is low, your B12 is depleted, you need the magnesium for your heart. No wonder you're feeling weak." "I'm sorry," I said automatically. "I just forgot. That's what the watch is for. It's supposed to remind you." He pulled out his phone, tapping at the screen. "I'm adjusting your reminder settings. You'll get a notification every morning at 7, and if you don't confirm you've taken them within 30 minutes, it'll alert me." Something in my chest tightened that had nothing to do with my heart. "David, that seems like a lot. I'm a grown woman. I can remember to take vitamins." "Can you?" He gestured at the full pill compartment. "Because the evidence suggests otherwise. Maria, I care about you. After what happened to Frank, I just want to make sure you're healthy. Is that so wrong?" And there it was. The mention of Frank, My late husband, who died suddenly of a heart attack at 61. David knew exactly how to hit that nerve to make me feel like my health anxiety was justified, like his concern was pure love rather than something else. I met David 6 months ago at a charity auction. He'd been charming, attentive, interesting. After 4 years of widowhood and loneliness, his attention felt like sunlight after a long winter. We'd started dating seriously 3 months ago, and he'd been nothing but generous. Expensive dinners, weekend trips, thoughtful gifts. The smartwatch had come with a speech about how much he worried about me, how he wanted to be able to check in on my health even when we were apart. At first, I'd found it sweet. Now, standing in my own kitchen while he reprogrammed my watch settings without asking, I wasn't so sure. "Take them now," he said, handing me the pills and a glass of water. All of them. I looked down at the 5 large capsules in my palm. They seemed like a lot, but David's nutritionist friend had assured him they were necessary. I swallowed them dutifully, washing them down with water. "Good girl," David said, and kissed my forehead. "Now, the watch data shows you didn't sleep well last night. Only 6 hours. You need at least 8. I want you to take a nap while I make us lunch." "I'm not tired," I protested weakly. "The data says you are. Trust the science, not your feelings, Maria. Your body is giving you signals. Listen to them." I found myself nodding, walking to my bedroom, lying down on top of the covers. David pulled the curtains closed and shut the door softly behind him. I stared at the ceiling, my mind foggy and confused. When had I stopped making my own decisions? When had I started letting him tell me when to eat, sleep, exercise, and take medicine? But he was right, wasn't he? The watch had all the data. It tracked everything. My heart rate, my sleep cycles, my steps, my stress levels, even my location. David could check the app anytime and see exactly what I was doing. He said it gave him peace of mind. He said it proved he loved me. So why did I feel like I was suffocating? I must have dozed off, because the next thing I knew, David was shaking me gently. "Lunch is ready. Come eat." I followed him to the kitchen in a daze. He'd made a salad and grilled chicken, portioned exactly according to what he called optimal senior nutrition. As I ate, he talked about his plans for us, how he wanted me to move in with him, how we should think about getting married, how he'd take such good care of me. "I've been thinking," he said, cutting his chicken with precise movements. "You should stop going to that yoga class. It's clearly too strenuous. Look what happened today." "I like yoga," I said quietly. "It's the only exercise I enjoy. And Margaret's there." "Margaret." He said her name like it tasted bad. "That woman has never liked me. She's always trying to get in your head, make you doubt us. And that instructor, Beth, she should have been watching you more carefully. You could have been seriously hurt. It was my fault for not eating enough breakfast, probably." "Exactly. Which is why I'm going to start coming over every morning to make sure you eat properly and take your supplements. I can check your watch data, make sure everything's optimized. Every morning. Every single morning." The idea made my chest tight again. That night, after David finally left, I sat alone in my living room and stared at the watch on my wrist. The screen glowed softly in the darkness, showing my resting heart rate, my step count for the day, my sleep score prediction for the night. All those numbers, all that data, all feeding directly to David's phone. I tried to remember the last time I'd made a decision without consulting him, or rather, without him telling me what the watch data suggested I should do. 2 months ago, before the watch, before the supplements, before everything became about optimization and health metrics and David knowing where I was every moment of the day. I'd been tired before, yes. 63 came with its challenges, but I'd never felt this exhausted, this confused, this unable to think clearly. And according to the watch, I was healthier than ever. Something was wrong. I just didn't know what. The next morning, I woke to 3 missed alerts on my watch. Time to take supplements. Confirm intake. Alert. Supplements not confirmed. Notifying emergency contact. David has been notified of missed medication. My phone rang before I even got out of bed. "Maria, are you okay? You didn't take your pills." David's voice was tight with worry, or was it anger? "I'm fine. I just woke up. I'll take them now. I'm coming over." David, no, it's fine. I promise I'll take them. I'm already in the car. See you in 15 minutes. He hung up before I could protest. I looked down at the watch, at the little green light on the back that pressed against my skin, tracking, measuring, reporting everything to him. For the first time, I tried to take it off. The clasp was different from a normal watch clasp. It required pressing 2 buttons simultaneously while sliding a small mechanism. I fumbled with it, my fingers clumsy and shaking, but couldn't figure it out. David had put it on me the day he gave it to me, and I realized with growing horror that I'd never actually taken it off. Not to shower, not to sleep, not once in 2 months. I was still struggling with it when David let himself in with the key I'd given him. "What are you doing?" His voice was sharp. "I was trying to take off the watch. It's irritating my skin." "No, it's not." He walked over and grabbed my wrist, examining it. "There's no rash. Why would you want to take it off?" I wanted to." "Maria." He sat down beside me on the bed, taking my hand. His voice softened, became gentle again. "I know you're tired and confused. That's why you need the watch, sweetheart. You can't trust your own judgment right now. Your vitamin levels are all messed up. Your sleep is poor. You're not eating right. The watch and the supplements are helping you. You just need to trust the process. Trust me." And because I was confused and tired and he sounded so reasonable, I nodded. I took the supplements. I let him check my watch data and make notes in a little journal he kept about my health. I let him tell me I should stay home from yoga that week, just to rest. But that afternoon, when I had a routine appointment with my primary care physician, Dr. Susan Park, I went alone. David had wanted to come, but I'd lied and said it was just a prescription refill. Dr. Park had been my doctor for 8 years. She was in her 50s, warm and thorough, and she knew my medical history inside and out. "How are you feeling, Maria?" she asked as she checked my blood pressure. "Tired, dizzy sometimes. I actually fainted at yoga yesterday." Her hand paused on the blood pressure cuff. "That's concerning. Any other symptoms?" "Trouble concentrating, brain fog, headaches." She made notes, her expression thoughtful. "I see you're wearing a health tracker. How long have you had that?" "About 2 months. My boyfriend gave it to me." "And these symptoms? When did they start?" I thought about it. Around the same time, actually. Maybe 2-3 weeks after I started wearing it. Dr. Park's eyes sharpened with interest. "May I see the watch?" I held out my wrist. She examined it, turned it over, looked at the sensors on the back. "Maria, I'm going to ask you something, and I want you to think carefully before you answer. Do you feel safe in your relationship?" The question startled me. "What?" "Yes, of course. David's never hurt me. He's very caring." "Caring in what ways?" He makes sure I eat right, take my vitamins, get enough sleep. He tracks my health data to make sure I'm okay." "Tracks your health data. Does he have access to your location as well?" "The watch has GPS, yes. He says it's for safety, in case something happens to me." Dr. Park was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "I'd like to run some blood work, check your vitamin levels, thyroid, a full metabolic panel. I'd also like you to stop wearing this watch for 24 hours and see if your symptoms improve." "I can't," I said automatically. "David will get an alert if my heart rate drops off the system." "Maria." Dr. Park pulled her chair closer, her voice gentle but firm. "Listen to what you just said. You can't take off a watch because your boyfriend will be notified. Does that sound healthy to you?" I felt tears prick my eyes. "He just worries about me." "I understand, but I'm worried about you too. As your doctor, I'm telling you that the symptoms you're describing, combined with the timing of when you started wearing this device and taking supplements I didn't prescribe. I'm concerned. Will you let me run the blood work?" I nodded, unable to speak. 20 minutes later, I sat in the lab waiting room as they drew vial after vial of blood. "Doctor." Park had put in orders for everything: complete blood count, comprehensive metabolic panel, vitamin levels, thyroid function, heavy metals screening. "I'll have the results in 2 days," she told me. "And Maria, I want you to bring in those supplements your boyfriend gives you. I want to see exactly what's in them." That night, I hid 1 pill from each bottle in a small plastic bag and brought them to my daughter Rebecca's house. Rebecca lived 40 minutes away with her husband and 2 teenage kids. At 35, she was whip-smart, protective, and had disliked David from the moment she met him. "Mom," finally. She ushered me inside, concern written all over her face. "I've been worried about you. You've seemed so out of it lately. I need you to do something for me," I said, handing her the bag of pills. "Can your husband, Tom, look at these? See if he can figure out what's in them?" Tom was a pharmacist at a major hospital. Rebecca's eyes widened as she took the bag. "Mom, what's going on?" I told her everything. The watch, the supplements, the tracking, the constant monitoring, how David had slowly taken control of every aspect of my health and daily routine, how I couldn't remember the last decision I'd made for myself. Rebecca's expression grew darker with every word. "Mom, this is abuse. You know that, right?" "He's never hit me," I protested weakly. "Abuse isn't just hitting. This is coercive control. He's isolated you, he's monitoring your every move, he's controlling what you eat and when you sleep. And these pills, Mom, if Tom finds out there's something in these that shouldn't be there." "I'm probably overreacting," I said. "Dr. Park ordered blood work. Maybe I'm just deficient in something. Or maybe your boyfriend is drugging you." Rebecca's voice was hard. "Tom, can you come here?" Tom analyzed the pills right there at their kitchen table, using a small testing kit he kept for work. His expression grew grimmer with each test. "Maria," he said finally, "these pills labeled B-complex, they contain diphenhydramine. That's Benadryl, a sedating antihistamine. And these magnesium ones? There's something else in here I can't identify without sending it to a lab, but I can tell you it's not just magnesium." My blood ran cold. "What does that mean?" "It means someone is giving you sedatives disguised as vitamins, possibly other things too. No wonder you're tired and foggy. You're being drugged, Mom." Rebecca grabbed my hand. "We need to call the police." "No," I said quickly. "Not yet. I need to be sure. Let me get the blood work results from Dr. Park. I need evidence." "You have evidence!" Tom pointed at the pills. "This is evidence, but I need to know what it's doing to me. I need medical documentation. David he's connected. He knows people. If I accuse him of this without proof, he'll make me look crazy." Rebecca looked like she wanted to argue, but Tom put a hand on her arm. "Your mom's right. We need a solid case. But Maria, you're not going back to that condo alone tonight. You're staying here." I started to protest, then stopped. I was tired of protesting, tired of arguing, tired of being told what to do, even if this time it was people who actually cared about me. "Okay," I whispered. My watch buzzed. A message from David. "App shows you're in an unfamiliar location. Where are you? Are you okay?" I stared at the message, my hands shaking. He always knew where I was. Always. Rebecca saw my face. "Give me the watch." "I can't get it off. The clasp is complicated." Tom examined it, and his jaw tightened. "This isn't a normal clasp. It's designed to be difficult to remove. Jesus, Maria, this is..." He pulled out a small toolkit and carefully worked at the mechanism. After 5 minutes, the watch finally came free. The moment it left my wrist, I felt like I could breathe again. It was psychological, probably, but I didn't care. I watched as Rebecca powered it down and placed it in a drawer. "You can tell him you're staying with me because you don't feel well," Rebecca said. "That's the truth, anyway." I sent David a carefully worded message, feeling very dizzy and unwell. "Staying with Rebecca tonight so she can keep an eye on me. Need to rest." His response came within seconds. "Why didn't you tell me you were going to Rebecca's? I would have driven you. Why isn't your watch sending data? Did you take it off?" "Battery died. Phone almost dead too. Talk tomorrow." I turned off my phone before he could respond. That night, I slept for 12 hours straight without a single supplement. When I woke up the next morning, my head felt clearer than it had in weeks. Not perfect, but better. The fog was lifting. Dr. Park called 2 days later with the blood work results. Rebecca and Tom were with me when I put her on speaker. "Maria, your vitamin levels are actually dangerously high. Hypervitaminosis. You have toxic levels of vitamin A and vitamin D in your system. You're also showing elevated liver enzymes, which suggests your liver is stressed from processing whatever you've been taking. And there are traces of several sedating medications in your blood, including diphenhydramine and low levels of a benzodiazepine." "A what?" I asked. An anti-anxiety medication. In small doses, it causes drowsiness and confusion. In the doses I'm seeing, someone's been giving you just enough to keep you compliant and foggy, but not enough to make it obvious you're being drugged. Rebecca's face had gone white. Tom's expression was murderous. "Dr. Park," I said, my voice surprisingly steady. "I need you to document all of this. Every detail. Write it all in my medical record. I'm going to need it." "I've already done that, Maria, and I'm required to report this. Someone has been poisoning you." The next week was a blur of police reports, lawyers, and restraining orders. David called, texted, showed up at Rebecca's house. The police escorted him away and warned him to stay away from me. He was furious, disbelieving. "I was taking care of her," he told the officers. "She's confused. She needs help. She has dementia, probably. She doesn't know what she's saying." But I knew exactly what I was saying. And I had medical records, Tom's analysis of the pills, and a very clear mind now that I hadn't taken David's supplements for a week. My lawyer, a sharp woman named Patricia, who Rebecca had recommended, took one look at my case and smiled grimly. "We're going after him for assault and illegal surveillance. The pills alone are enough, but that watch, Maria, that watch has recording capabilities. He could have been listening to your conversations." I felt sick. The legal process was slow and grinding, but Patricia was relentless. She subpoenaed David's phone records, the watch company's data, and his communications with the nutritionist friend who'd provided the pills. That friend, it turned out, wasn't a licensed nutritionist at all, but someone David paid to create custom vitamin bottles filled with sedatives. 4 months later, we sat in a courtroom. David, still perfectly dressed and composed, maintained that everything he'd done was out of love and concern for my health. His lawyer argued that I was an older woman with memory problems who'd consented to his help. Patricia stood up with a folder of medical records, Tom's pharmaceutical analysis, and transcripts of text messages where David had discussed keeping her manageable with his friend. "Your Honor," Patricia said, "this isn't a case of an overprotective boyfriend. This is systematic poisoning and coercive control of a vulnerable adult." Mr. Chen specifically targeted Miss Martinez after learning about her late husband's death from a heart attack. He exploited her health anxiety to gain control over every aspect of her life, monitored her location constantly, drugged her to keep her compliant, and when she tried to escape, he attempted to have her declared incompetent. The judge reviewed the evidence for what felt like hours. Finally, she looked up. "Mr. Chen, the evidence presented here is deeply disturbing. You systematically poisoned Miss Martinez over a period of months, violated her privacy, and attempted to control her through manipulation and drugs. This court finds sufficient evidence for criminal prosecution on charges of assault, illegal surveillance, and elder abuse." David's composure finally cracked. "She needed help. She was falling apart." "Because you were drugging her," the judge's voice was sharp. "Bailiff, please escort Mr. Chen out. Miss Martinez, I'm granting you a permanent restraining order. He is not to come within 500 feet of you, contact you by any means, or attempt to access your medical or personal information." I sat there, trembling, as David was led out of the courtroom, still protesting. Rebecca squeezed my hand. "It's over, Mom. It's really over." But it wasn't quite over. The criminal trial took another 6 months. During that time, I learned that I wasn't David's first victim. 2 other women came forward with similar stories. The pattern was always the same: target a widow or divorcee, gain her trust, introduce health monitoring for her safety, gradually increase control until she was too foggy and exhausted to resist. David was eventually sentenced to 4 years in prison. It felt both too much and not enough. Today, 1 year later, I'm sitting in the same yoga studio where I first collapsed. Margaret is beside me in tree pose, steady and strong. I raise my arms above my head and hold the position, feeling the strength in my body, the clarity in my mind. After class, a younger woman approaches me hesitantly. She's maybe 40, fit, with worried eyes. "Excuse me," she says. "I heard you talking with Margaret before class about your experience. My boyfriend just gave me a fitness tracker. He says it's because he worries about my health, but he checks it constantly. And he got upset when I forgot to wear it one day. Is that Do you think that's normal? I look at the watch on her wrist, then at her face. I see my own confusion and doubt reflected there. Can I buy you a coffee? I ask. I think we should talk. As we walk to the coffee shop next door, I notice my wrist is bare, except for a simple watch I bought myself last month. It tells time and nothing else. No tracking, no monitoring, no alerts. Just time, passing steadily, belonging to me and no one else. And for the first time in a very long time, I feel like myself again. Maria Rodriguez Martinez, 64 years old, survivor, and finally, completely free.